So let's talk about this. The trader who can't be alone with himself can't be trusted with capital. Now this isn't about your strategy or your indicators. It's about something way, way deeper.
No, really. Think about it. When was the last time you were in a room with no phone, no screen, no music, no content at all? Just you and your own thoughts. How long did it take? A minute? 30 seconds? Before you felt that itch, that discomfort, that need to just grab something, scroll something, react to anything to make the silence go away.
And here's the thing, that feeling, that inability to just sit still, it doesn't magically disappear when you pull up your charts. Oh no, it follows you. It's the ghost in the machine that's behind every single impulsive trade, every time you jump out of a good position too early, every click made simply because doing nothing felt unbearable.
To really get how deep this avoidance goes, we've got to look at this one fascinating and, honestly, kind of disturbing study. This gets right to the heart of the matter.
So, back in 2014, researchers at the University of Virginia did an experiment. They put people in a room for just 15 minutes. That's it. The only rule was be alone with your thoughts, no distractions.
But they gave them one out. There was a button, and if being alone with their own mind just got to be too much, they could press it. The catch, pressing the button gave them a mild electric shock. Now, just stop and think about that choice for a second. Your own thoughts or actual physical pain.
The results were frankly staggering. 67% of the men and 25% of the women chose to shock themselves rather than just sit quietly for 15 minutes. They literally chose pain over their own thoughts. That's how desperate we are to escape our own unoccupied minds.
And boom, there it is. This is the whole idea in a nutshell. That impulsive trade you keep making, it's not a flaw in your trading plan. It's a symptom of a deeper problem. You can't tolerate stillness. The trade becomes the electric shock. It's the button you press to get relief from the discomfort of doing nothing.
And look, this isn't some new age, digital era problem. This struggle is as old as humanity itself. People have been wrestling with this for centuries.
Way back in the 17th century, the philosopher Blaise Pascal said this. He saw that our desperate need to run away from ourselves, from solitude, is what's behind most of our destructive behavior. We're just constantly looking for a distraction. But then you've got the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, who saw it totally differently. For them, your inner world wasn't a prison to escape from. It was a fortress, a place of refuge. He called it the inner retreat, a quiet place in your own soul you could go to anytime, anywhere. See, they knew peace isn't found by running away from your thoughts. It's found by learning to live with them.
And that's the bottom line for us as traders. If you don't have that inner retreat, you're building your entire career on shaky ground. Every slow market, every period of uncertainty is going to tempt you to act, not because the action is right, but because the action is a relief.
Okay, so if this inability to be still is the problem, what's the solution? Well, the good news is that the capacity for solitude, it's a muscle. And right now, for a lot of us, that muscle has atrophied. But you can rebuild it. Here's how.
All right, we're going to break this down into 3 simple, practical steps. These aren't just ideas, they're actual exercises to rebuild that atrophied solitude muscle.
So step 1 is the daily silence window. We start small, just 5 minutes every morning. Before you look at a single screen, you just sit. That's it. Don't try to clear your mind, just watch what it does. And I guarantee it's going to resist, it's going to scream at you about emails and charts. That feeling, that resistance, that's not a sign you're failing. That's the feeling of the muscle getting stronger.
Step 2, the pre-session audit. Right before you start trading, take 3 minutes. 3 minutes of silence, and ask yourself this one question. What am I bringing to the screen today that doesn't belong here? Maybe it's anxiety from a loss yesterday, or some personal issue. You name it, you acknowledge it, and then you consciously decide to park it on a mental shelf until the session is over. It's about building a firewall.
Okay, and step 3 is the advanced move, the no trade session. Once a week, you do everything you normally would. You watch the market, you analyze, you journal, but you make a commitment. You will not execute a single trade. The entire point of this is to prove to your nervous system that you can sit with opportunity, you can sit with inaction, and you will be fine. You're severing that toxic link in your brain between silence and failure.
So after all this training, it all boils down to one simple, powerful question you have to ask yourself before every single click.
Is your hand moving to that mouse because you're trying to escape the discomfort of silence? If so, that's a mistake. Or is your hand moving because a valid signal, one that's part of your plan, has actually appeared? That, my friends, is a trade. The trader who is comfortable with silence knows the difference every single time. One is desperation, the other is discipline.
So I'm going to leave you with this. The last time you really sat in complete silence, what did you feel? Not what you thought about, but what did you feel? Because whatever that feeling was, anxiety, boredom, restlessness, that's what's sitting at your trading desk with you right now. You have to learn to sit with it in the quiet first, before you ever try to manage it in the chaos of the market.